If you would go ahead and take a moment and find your seats, please. Well, that was quick. These students really follow directions very well, by the way. Well, good morning. I'm Angie Covey, the Executive Director of the Educational Foundation at New River Community College, and I am so pleased to welcome you here today. The first item on our program, actually, is a message from our president, Dr. Pat Huber, who could not be with us in person today, and she was very disappointed about that, so she chose to be with us via satellite. So we have a message from Dr. Huber.
Good morning, and welcome to the NRCC Educational Foundation Scholarship Brunch. Especially because this is my first year as president of New River Community College, I wish I could be there with you in person. Instead, I'm at a required event with the Chancellor of the Virginia Community College System and the other 22 VCCS presidents. Today is an exciting day for our foundation because the donors or their representatives meet and enjoy fellowship with the scholarship recipients. To the donors or their representatives, I say a big thank you for your investment in these students. Your generosity allows these students to reach their educational goals and strengthen our communities. To the scholarship recipients, I congratulate you on your scholarship awards. You have been carefully selected and matched with the scholarship donors. You represent the donors' commitment to education. I extend a special welcome and thank you to Dr. and Mrs. Tracy and Sarah Wilkins, who were named the 2017 NRCC Philanthropists of the Year. I also want to thank the members of the board of the NRCC Educational Foundation. Today is the highlight of your leadership for our foundation. And I say a special thank you to Angie Covey, Executive Director of the Foundation, to her staff, and to everyone else at NRCC who have worked so hard to make this day special. Enjoy your day.
Next, I would like to thank our sponsor, National Bank. This is the 6th consecutive year of their sponsorship, and we are tremendously grateful. Representing National Bank today is Linda Torgeson. Could we give Linda a round of applause in appreciation for their support? Now, while we are here to celebrate a great year at New River Community College, I would like to first begin by remembering those members of the New River Community College family which we have lost. Cornelia Dobbins, Paul Duncan, Nanny Hairston, Steve Kirk, and Helen Sheeler. A wise man once said, "The things we do for ourselves are gone when we are gone, but the things we do for others remain as our legacy." And it is quite a powerful legacy left here today, which is represented by the individuals shown on the screen behind me. Thank you to their family members and friends who are with us today to celebrate that legacy through these scholarships. Thank you. So, as everyone in the room knows, it's truly an honor to receive a New River Community College Endowed Scholarship. Students, you should be very proud of your accomplishments, and we hope you will enjoy the opportunity today to meet the donors who are assisting in making your educational dreams a reality. Since we met last year, we have added 12 new scholarship endowments. The way Erica and I figured this is we are one endowment away from busting out of this room. So we'll see what happens next year. Now, aside from scholarship endowments, much attention has been given to the phenomenal success of the Access to Community College Education program known as ACE, which has been introduced now to 8 of our 9 high schools in our service region. We are so proud of this program, which is a great example of what we can accomplish when a community comes together, connecting public and private support for the greater good of educating our youth. Now, isn't that exciting? 8 out of 9 high schools? Well, it's almost as exciting as what we have going on in the room right here, because this is my favorite event of the year. As I look out into the room, I see a room full of personal connections. I see a different story at every table. I see some that are here because they're remembering a loved one. Some are commemorating a friend. Some are honoring their hometown, while others are investing in a profession, a passion, or a trade. However, all are here for ultimately the same reason, which is investing in our students through the power of education with a personal connection. And that, my friends, is why this is my favorite event of the year. So now let's take a moment. I'd like to introduce both boards, starting with our college board, then moving to our foundation board, and I'd like to ask if all board members will rise, and then we will hold our applause until all have been introduced. So beginning with college board, we have the chairman of our board, Steve Harvey, representing Radford. We have Doug Martin and Richard Chidester representing Giles County. We have Steve Kaler representing Floyd County. And our foundation board members, we have our chairman of the board, Ed Lawhorn, Ed Barnes, Bob Blake, John Brown, Krisha Chakra, Carl Epley, Eddie Hale, Gary Hancock, Hi Nicely, Andy Owens, Street Overstreet, Les Pugh, L.T. Simmons, and Ann Wheeler. Isn't this an impressive group? So, thank you. Now, instead of introducing each student, you've seen throughout the morning that there's been a slideshow displayed introducing students. It would be impossible to introduce all of the students because there's almost 200 students in the audience today. So what we also did is we put a blue ribbon across students' name tags so that you will know who all the students are in the room. So please take an opportunity to congratulate as many of them as you can. And then the next thing we like to do is we like to introduce all the benefactors and sponsors that are here today. And if those of you who've been here in the past know that I just stand here and we go from table to table. And I asked Erica yesterday, Erica Talbert, who is my partner in the foundation office, if she would help me and we could just go into the audience and do our introductions that way. So we're going to start at the front of the room and work our way around. So here we go. And Erica's going to start.
I have the pleasure of introducing benefactor Mary Ann Lewis. She is here representing the Jack and Mary Ann Lewis Scholarship, and she is also our former First Lady at New River Community College from 2000 to 2016. Mary Ann, can you please stand up so that everybody can?
And we'll ask for everyone to hold their applause until we get through all 38 tables, I think.
Thank you.
Next, we have David Duncan, and he is representing the Paul and Elfrida Duncan Scholarships. There's 5 of them at this table. Stand. And we also have Ed Lawhorn, who, in addition to being the chairman of our board, is representing the Union Bank Scholarship.
We also have Tracy and Sarah Wilkins, who are our 2017 Philanthropist of the Year, and they are also representing the Wilkins Fellows. Thank you.
And here we have Nancy Artist as a special guest with us today. And also we have Les and Joyce Pugh And it's always an honor to get to introduce the Pughs for several reasons. One being Les Pugh was on the founding college board, 1969, and Les and Joyce Pugh were on the founding foundation board, which is pretty impressive. They have 6 students here today that are Les and Joyce Pugh scholarship recipients. So earlier in the week, we started looking at, you know, that's a lot of students, a lot of years. So we went back through the files and we started counting the number of students that have received Pugh scholarships. And I can say that at one of the six students at this table today is the 100th Les and Joyce Pugh scholarship recipient. So that deserves some applause.
Here we have benefactor Elrika Graham and Reverend Mark Graham. They are representing their family scholarship. And we also have Linda Torgeson, who is representing the National Bank Scholarship.
I'm just not sure what to say about this table. I have the Sheriff of Montgomery County, Hank Parton. I have the Chief of Police from Blacksburg, Anthony Wilson, and the Chief of Police from Christiansburg. So I think it's kind of unique to see the 3 of them seated at the same table. Oddly, it's in Pulaski County, so not sure what's happening there, but we welcome these 3. They are here representing the Books and Badges Scholarship.
Here we have benefactor Bob Blake representing his scholarship. We also have Peg Moore, who is representing the W.E.C. Moore Scholarship. And we also have benefactor Christy Heslop. Ms. Heslop is representing our new endowments. She worked tirelessly to raise the funds to honor her husband, Louis Heslop.
Next, we have benefactors Ron and Patsy Chafin representing their scholarship, and Ron's a retiree of New River Community College. We also have Dr. Ed Barnes and Shirley Barnes. They're representing 2 Barnes scholarships, and I have to say a little something about Ed Barnes. He is the 4th president of New River Community College, serving our college from 91 to 99. Does that sound right? 2000 to 2000. So it's always an honor to have Ed Barnes with us on campus. So thank you for traveling from North Carolina to be with us today.
Here we have Charlie White and Peggy White. Charlie served as our interim president at NRCC the past spring. He is also representing a new endowment. When we decided to endow a scholarship in Charlie's honor, it took about 15 minutes to raise the funds that were needed, the $25,000. So he is here representing his scholarship. And the lead donor to that scholarship was Kathy and Eddie Hill, who are also at this table. And they are representing the Martin's Pharmacy Scholarship as well as the Hill Family Scholarship. At this table, we also have Jonathan Sweet, who is the new administrator for Pulaski County. So he's joining us today as well.
Okay, here we have representing the John T. And Nanny B. Harrison Scholarship. We have members of her family. We have Colette Hash, Gary Lewis Hash, and Diane Payne. We also have benefactor Ann Wheeler, who's representing her scholarship. And also, I have to give a little shout out to Ann every time. Ann is one of the reasons that this ACE program has been so successful in the New River Valley, because Giles County started it, and they have raised $1 million in 2 years to fund this program. So we need to thank this lady right here.
Here we have benefactor L.T. Simmons, who is here representing his scholarships. We also have Krisha Chakra, as well as Vinod and Ranjana Chakra, who are contributors to the Books and Badges program.
Here we have Jennifer McCarthy, representing the McCarthy Scholarships. We also have Carol and Gary Hancock, representing the Hancock Scholarship. And Gary Hancock was, of course, he's been on our college board and our foundation board, but he was also on the state board for Virginia Community Colleges. And I have to ask him a quick question and put him on the spot. But when he was representing the Virginia Community College system for all those years, and he had all those meetings in Richmond in which all 23 colleges were represented, which one was the best college?
New River Community College.
Here we have Robin Dobbins. She is joining us representing the Dobbins Family Scholarships. And we also have benefactor Laura Osborne Kirk, who is representing her scholarship as well.
Here we have Jim and Margaret Schuler. And if you remember 2 years ago, Gerald Belials was our keynote speaker, Governor Belials. And his initiative was something called the Rural Virginia Horseshoe Initiative, which helps us employ these phenomenal career coaches that we have in our high schools. And Margaret and Jim made the lead gift on the Rural Virginia Horseshoe Initiative program. So thank you again for that. We also have Sean Pressman, and Sean is representing the Brinkley Ure Memorial Scholarship, which is associated with Lewis Gale. And he is the new CEO of Pulaski Lewis Gale, so welcome. In addition, we have a new scholarship at this table, and this scholarship is the Dr. Bill McGuire Scholarship. We received partial funding for this scholarship from Dr. McGuire's estate, and then we have Don Yoder and Marlene Yoder who finished that gift so that we would have a scholarship that would live forever in Dr. McGuire's name. So thank you, Dr. Yoder, Mrs. Yoder.
Here we have Andy Owens, who is representing the Huff scholarships this morning. Thank you.
Here we have benefactors Jerry and Phyllis Gallagher, and they're representing the Michael D. Gallagher Scholarship. We have benefactor Diane Mabry, representing the Melvin Mabry Scholarship. And then we have benefactors John and Mary White, representing their scholarship. Thank you.
Benefactors Rita and Bill Dixon, representing their scholarship, as well as benefactor Ben Kramer, who is representing his scholarship, and Bill Flattery, who is representing Carilion St. Albans RN Scholarship.
Here we have Roger Atkins, benefactor and recent retiree of New River Community College, who we miss every single day here at New River. We also have Peggy Friend, who is representing the Billy Friend Instrumentation Scholarship.
Here we have representing the Dublin High School scholarships are Eleanor Farmer, Esther Ward, and Carol Smith. And we also have benefactor Hi Nicely representing his scholarship.
Here we have Bill Smith representing the Helen Gregory Smith Scholarship. We also have Todd Robertson, who is representing a new scholarship, and this is the Statesman Home Scholarship. Then we also have Judy Hagan and Carol Runyon, and they are representing the Hagan Family Scholarship in memory of Judy's son, Kyle Lee Hagan.
Here we have another new scholarship, benefactors Lee and Judy Smith, representing their first endowed scholarship. And we have representing the NRV Share Scholarships, Stan Moran and Audra Weddle. Oh, I'm sorry, Stan couldn't make it.
And another new scholarship, as I said, we had 12 from last year to this year. And that would be benefactors John and Mary Jean Brown, and they endowed a second scholarship. We also now have a new scholarship, and it is the Moog Components Group Scholarship. We have Jay Muscatello, who is the Vice President and General Manager of Moog Components Group, representing today.
Here we have Jean and Sarah and Elizabeth Whitman representing their family scholarship.
So representing the United Auto Workers Local 2069 Scholarship, we have Lori Duncan and we have Jody Akers. And also representing Volvo, we have Frankie Marchand, and we also have who is often known as the face of Volvo, is Marcus Thompson.
We have representing the New River Valley Charitable Trust Scholarship, Eileen Fletcher. And representing the King and Childers Scholarships are David King and Sharon Quessenberry.
Representing the James W. Robertson Memorial Scholarship, we have Harold and Ann Lambert. And we have benefactor Billy Mills and Kathy Mills, representing the Mills Scholarship.
Here we have new benefactors, Beth Hill, Dawn Smith, and Rachel Timmers, representing the Bobby C. Smith Scholarship. We also have benefactor Perriette Huber, who is representing her scholarship.
Representing Wells Fargo, we have Tim Knott and Lewis Townsend. Representing Selco Credit Union, we have Mark Clemens and Christy Eden. And representing the HT and Ola Bowling Scholarship, we have their daughter, Trish Hale, who was my 5th grade teacher, and I have to hug her.
Representing the Dublin Lions Club, we have Carl and Glenda Lindstrom.
And here, representing the AT&T Scholarship, we have Gary and Ida Kaiser. And another new endowment, and that is the Simmerman Family Scholarship. And they endowed 2 scholarships from the Simmon family, and we have Graham here representing this family. So thank you for being here, Graham.
Representing Corning, we have Sean Lumsden and Addis Ainsley.
And representing as benefactors the Year Out Family Scholarship, we have Everett Lee, Elizabeth, and Rebecca Year Out.
Tommy Laughlin is representing Blacksburg Rotary Scholarships.
And here we have Beverly and Cecil Nichols representing the Travis Nichols Scholarship.
Here we have Denise Hughes, who is representing the Celanese Scholarship. And we also have our special friends, Carl and Luana Epley, who are representing donors who could not be here today.
And that concludes the introduction of our sponsors and our benefactors, except, you know, we have these phenomenal career coaches, and we have one that has a birthday today. We're not going to sing happy birthday, but we're just going to make her stand up so that we can say happy birthday to Kathy Kleppen. She is a rock star career coach. She is one of many that are in the high schools, these students' senior year, making sure that they understand that college is available. She's helping them through that application process, and she's the reason many of these students are in the room, because she pulled them down to the computer lab and she assisted them, or maybe forced a few to complete their scholarship application. So thank you, Kathy, and happy birthday. So now a delicious meal awaits us. So if I could ask the chairman of our foundation board, Ed Lawhorn, to go to the podium for our invocation. Immediately following the invocation, the catering staff is going to lead us table by table through the buffet line.
As chair of the Educational Foundation, it's my pleasure to welcome you too today. I wish you could stand here. You may see it, you may have some appreciation for it on the screen, to see the picture I see of those who give and those who receive in one place, but not just in one place, at tables with each other, sharing in the joy of giving and receiving. I have a 5-year association with the College Foundation, and most recently being chair of that foundation. And I attend a lot of functions and meetings down here, but as Pat said, Pat Huber, this is the highlight of what we do in the Educational Foundation each year. What a fun event this is each year. But I think to me, we celebrate not only giving and receiving, we also celebrate the work that goes into all this by Angie, by Erica, by the career coaches, by all those who have a part in making sure that the good work through the foundation, the traditional scholarship program, the ACE program, all of that works in a way that we celebrate here today. You don't see everything, we celebrate it, but you don't see everything all these folks do. So I want us to just stop right now and give them a hand and thank them for what they're doing. And now, before we enjoy our brunch, let me lead us in a word of thanks. Father, every day, but especially today, each year, what a joy it is to be associated with New River Community College. You bless us with those who give. We're thankful for those who can receive. We're thankful for all the good work that goes on at New River Community College. We thank you for our leadership, Dr. Huber, her staff, faculty, all those who have roles at New River Community College, whatever they are, in making this the community college it is. For our foundation, Angie and Erica in that office, and all those who contribute to the good work that goes on here. For our boards, the college board, the foundation board, the time contributed by all. We thank you for the celebration here today. We thank you for what's been prepared for us. We pray that you would bless it to our bodies and us to your service. And as we end our prayer, we say, amen. Thank you.
So at this time, I would like to take the opportunity to introduce to you our keynote speaker for this evening or this afternoon, and then we also have 3 students that are going to be joining our speaker. So I'll be introducing Anthony Wilson, Blacksburg Police Chief. There are many great accolades that I could share about Chief, such as he's a Virginia Tech graduate, he's a Marine, he's a 30-year volunteer firefighter, he's a 20-year-plus veteran of Blacksburg Police Department, where among many duties he served as Blacksburg Homeland Defense Coordinator, a tactical commander, emergency response team commander, and that list goes on and on. Well, Chief Wilson is not here today because of any of those great things I just mentioned. He is here because he is a benefactor himself. Chief Wilson, along with Chief Sisson and Sheriff Parton, conceptualized and brought to fruition a scholarship program for law enforcement professionals called Books and Badges. And today, they sit at a table with 7 students from Montgomery County High Schools who are all receiving the Books and Badges Scholarship. So with that, I give you Chief Anthony Wilson.
Good morning, good afternoon, whatever brunch is. You can tell that Angie had a short list of keynote speakers when she ended up getting me to speak. I think the best thing I heard this morning was I told my daughter she called me in a panic to come speak at the Radford Sheriff's Office. And I said, I can. I'm delivering the keynote speech at New River Community College. And she said, oh, God. So we'll just wing it and go with it here. First of all, I just want to tell you how incredibly honored I am to speak to you at this prestigious event. I'm even more honored to stand in front of you with my 2 brothers, Hank Parton and Mark Sisson, who are both incredible leaders. They shared the vision that we had to create this very, very small component of this great day called Books and Badges. We're relatively new to the scholarship game, but I think if you talk to us individually, you'll find out it's probably the most important work we've ever done. As business leaders in what's a very, very tough industry, We don't face the normal pressures of outside competition, market fluctuation, or economic downturn. In fact, unfortunately, our business is pretty good. It's way, way too good. Our problem lies in attracting and retaining a qualified workforce. Our requirements are strict, the training is constant, the hours are long, the stress is often incredible. The compensation is moderate to low, but the commitment is enormous and often for life. I can't see why we can't get people. But dropping our standards is not an option. In fact, in this time in our history, it's probably the most important thing we'll ever do by making the right hires in this country today. To do so, we must find those in society that live with a moral and ethical compass that's set straight up north, that are willing to put service and sacrifice above self and comfort. Those who understand honor, integrity, team, family, don't only understand them, but they choose to embrace them, to live to a higher standard. Those who are willing to come back to our communities and become the very foundation that we need. They're very hard to find, and I'm not bragging on each of us, but it takes amazing vision. It takes a greater vision when we can't find them. If we can't find them, we must grow our own. We must teach those traits that we desire in our schools, community centers, and churches. We must mentor, look for those special leadership qualities and that incredible passion that we need in our industry. We must support them through school, provide them guidance, provide them motivation, then at the end, reward them with a great gift, a college education. That's what New River Community College did for us. That's what a great community college does for the community it serves. It twists and turns and recreates itself several times a year so the community itself reaps the benefit. If you ask any of these guys, and like I said, I look around at my little table of misfits over here, if just one of them goes into law enforcement, we win. Mark, Hank, and I win. But guess what? If none of them go into law enforcement, we all win. Because these guys have been nurtured in a culture of community and service. They will return the investment. I'll bet on it. But ours is just one little tiny success story in this amazing room. And when I agreed to speak, I told Angie the only way I do a keynote speech is if I conjured her letting me have other people help me. So if you ever get asked to do one, always do that in case you tank, because you can quickly pass the mic to somebody else. But we would come up together and figure out what would be a common thread to kind of link the room together. And that thread is greatness. What is it to be great? You know, if you look it up in the dictionary, it simply says to be the best in one's field or endeavor. To be the best. But often you hear the word has been associated with power and prestige and the amount of possessions. The command of others are often measured in the number of people who serve them. But is there a point that truly tells us if they've attained greatness? Is it out there completely out of reach for those who just live a normal life? Is it measured in someone's house size, the number of cars they have, the size of their entourage? My entourage is 3, well 2 actually. We ain't never gonna make it. So I set out to find the answer. And I chose the sports world as a medium because greatness seems to resonate there. And it also helps because I have immediate access to D1 coaches and athletes and everyone else in Blacksburg. But I asked some of the true stars of various sports and games if they'd ever felt greatness. Most readily admitted they had. They associated with a particular event or an outcome. They spoke of scoring the winning point, scoring the most points, a perfect game plan and execution. But I asked these super talented young men and women, what did it actually feel like? And the answer I received were often the same. It was this crazy, warm feeling inside my chest. It was an amazing high. I couldn't stop smiling. It was the whole team going wild for me. The crowd was cheering for me. They made me feel special. I said, wait a minute. So if it felt like that, so it felt like the team, the crowd, they made you feel special? So it's not something you took home and you looked in the mirror and said, wow, I am great. It was the reactions of others that gave you the feeling. And after some really long thought, they said, yeah, it requires others to feel greatness. In fact, one smart gentleman said, if you see in the mirror when you get home, it's not greatness, it's arrogance. And I said, well, if that's the case, have you ever felt this way outside of sports? Once again, got a whole lot of thought and had, yeah. One gentleman told me, it's when I told my mother I got a scholarship to go to college. First one ever in our family. And she cried. And she cries every time she comes to visit me. Another said, it's as simple as we pitched in as kids and bought my grandmother a birthday cake. First one she'd ever had, she said. She wouldn't let us eat it. So I said, that's the same as scoring a winning touchdown to win the football game? Buying your grandmother a birthday cake? And they said, yeah, that's what it's about. It was the same exact feeling. I said, well, I know that feeling. I've felt it before. So does that mean that we are all capable of feeling greatness? The overwhelming answer is yes. It's in the gift of giving to others, not in how many people that serve you. It's in how many people you serve and how well you do it. It's a two-part connection. It's the selfless act of giving and the return of true appreciation. It's then taking that gift and using it to empower, to succeed, and to deliver greatness to your benefactor over and over as you become the benefactor to others. It's one of life's most precious circles. This room is full of it. The relationship between benefactor and student is greatness in its purest form. It's not about finances. It's about the gift of education. It's about providing the keys that open all the doors to success. It's about personal connection. And I told you I was going to get some other people to help me because I want you to see it. I want you to see greatness in action. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce you to Elizabeth Quisenberry.
Well, for starters, my name is Elizabeth Quessenberry, as he's already said, but I am a proud member of Floyd County, but as of tonight, I will be known as number 100. These guys right here have donated multiple scholarships to all of us sitting at this table, and I'd just like to take a minute to thank them for that and for the fact that I get to be number 100. I'd like to take this time to thank God for this opportunity and, of course, Mr. and Mrs. Pugh for their generous and outstanding contributions to not only me, but every other 99 scholarship recipient. They have so graciously started this circle of greatness, and it is my honor and now responsibility to take this contribution and finish their circle by doing my best to succeed. When I finish my journey here at New River, I hope to take this gift of knowledge they've helped me to obtain and do unto others what these two have given to me. They have faith that I will use this scholarship and further my education, in return, giving back to the community we are so blessed to call our home. Mr. and Mrs. Pugh, thank you, and I can promise you'll never forget me, number 100.
That was perfect, Elizabeth, perfect. You were worried, weren't you? It's perfect. Now I want to introduce you to Devin Kelly.
As he said, my name is Devin Kelly. I'm a veteran. I spent 6 years with the Army, and I had a combat tour in Afghanistan. I moved down to this community with my wife when she went to school down here, And I was honored with the scholarship in memory of Andrew Graham. And if you don't know who he is, he served his country in World War II. He was on a plane that was shot down, and he landed and parachuted in enemy territory and was taken as a prisoner of war for 29 months, which that alone is service I can't even imagine. And then after that, when he was finally freed and brought home, he pursued further education and wanted to serve his community. And he dedicated himself to passing greatness into his community. And the honor of his memory alone, I mean, that inspires me to be great. He became the mayor of Pulaski. I mean, the service that he put in, if that's not greatness, I don't know what is. But just the idea of having to live up to that, and I promise you, I will do everything to pass on my greatness. Your greatness and your caring and everything has just given me so much opportunity, and I want to say thank you.
Thank you, Devin. That's veteran to veteran. Perfect. Now, our last guest speaker here is Miss Tori Howard.
Thank you. I'm so happy that I can actually be here and thank Dr. Wilkins personally in front of everybody here. And I just want to say that you can have everything planned out down to the very last detail, and you stick to that plan and that path, because being able to say that that's what you're going to do is part of getting where you want and need to be. But the truth is, it doesn't always work out that way. During my first year of high school, I knew what I wanted to be. I wanted to be an engineer, and nothing was ever going to change that. But that wasn't until my mom got sick. And the years that followed were the hardest years of my life. And but even through even through 8 major brain surgeries and 4 cross-country flights, my dad never once allowed me to think that my education was at risk, or he never stopped encouraging me to pursue what I wanted. And for those of you who have fought illness in that way, you know that it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. And if you don't have that endurance, you're not going to make it. So goals become unrealistic, and an education like the one I wanted just seemed out of reach. But money got tight, and scholarships became my main focus. And it was recommended to me that I apply for the Wilkins Fellowship. And it was made clear to me this was no normal scholarship, that this man who wanted to fund 2 years of my education is different, that he has a story that stands out and defines the most respectable qualities of human character. And like so many of his generation, Dr. Wilkins grew up with so little, but the desire to have a better life, the desire to earn a better life, drove him to where he is now. And with the encouragement from his mother, who said that no matter where you come from or what you have, you're just as good as anyone else, he began his future with a determination and fire that only those who have experienced similar poverty can understand. 8 patents and 2 companies later, Dr. Wilkins hasn't stopped his work. Greatness in people begins once you've achieved the goals you've set for yourself, but it doesn't stop there. The true greatness is developed after realizing that society is built upon the shoulders of those who came before us. It's when you turn around and offer a hand to people persevering in the same way you once did that you understand the greatness you've built is not only for yourself, but for a brighter future of everyone who follows. The hand I was offered has given me the mentality that despite seemingly insurmountable anguish, I can take that situation and turn it into my strength. I've been taught that the ability to turn your trials into your fortitude is what develops the most beneficial members in our nation. I look around and see so many beneficiaries of the goodwill of people who know what it's like to struggle, but also know what's on the other side of all that hard work. The donors here today are the founders of a whole new generation with the capability of the same greatness achieved by helping others. Dr. and Mrs. Wilkins, you have both shown to me that it doesn't matter what circumstances led to where you are or what you've been fighting. I have the ability to be the next great scientist, and my studies will lead to the improvement of lives just like you did, Dr. Wilkins, so thank you. Thank you for paving the way to a world that revolves around inspiring others into igniting that same spark you have so that they may develop and create better futures for not only themselves but their communities.
Thank you, Tori. So when you're a biomedical engineer, not a civil engineer, Tracy, that's the first return. When you invent your first prosthetic that gives somebody amazing movement or something else, that's your second. And then you'll be sitting at this table with your 3rd, 4th, and 5th as you complete the circle. Could we do this at every table? Could anybody say it better than these kids did right here? This is why we come. This is why we give. I want to take 1 second, and I just personally want to thank Angie Covey and Erica Tolbert. This is a mountain of work to put this together. It is a ton of energy and it's a ton of enthusiasm, and somehow they make us all feel like we're the most important people in the room. Thank you for giving us this opportunity for us to feel greatness. Thank you.
I think this is that's the toughest act to follow, hearing those students tell their story. My name's Steve Harvey. I am board chair here at New River Community College. I've worked at a local biotech company called Tech Lab now for 22 years. I've worked with Tracy Wilkins. This year, Dr. and Mrs. Tracy Wilkins were named the recipients of the Chancellor's Award for Leadership in Philanthropy. Tracy and Sarah Wilkins are tremendous believers in the power of education. In 2015, they established the Wilkins Fellows Program, which provides full scholarships to first-generation college students in the New River Valley. To date, they have funded full tuition for 12 Wilkins Fellows. Additionally, they made a gift to the Radford City ACE program, Access to Community College Education. And if any of you have talked to Angie, I'm sure you've heard about the ACE program. With their private support, Radford City was fully ACE funded for the senior class of 2017. Personally, I've worked for Tracy and known Sarah for over 20 years. Now, they are both very compassionate individuals. And believe me, you always know exactly where you stand with them. They expect you to be honest and work hard. If you do that, you are better. The school or the organization you work for is better for it. Yesterday, I had the chance to talk to an individual who was a previous Wilkins Fellow. Really couldn't come up with what to say, and I asked him, so, you know, what would you say if you had the chance to get up in front of this group and talk? And he said that by knowing Tracy was checking on him and expecting him to get good grades and not throw his gift away, that he worked hard and only decided to go to school because he knew someone cared and gave him that chance. He didn't want to pass up the opportunity. He is very thankful for what he has been given, and he will continue to work hard and learn more. I believe that message speaks for itself, and we would like to thank you both for your continued support. I would now like Tracy and Sarah to come forward so that Angie Covey can present you with a little token of remembrance.
I noticed that Peg Moore is in the audience, and Ed Moore, who was my first mentor at Virginia Tech, was giving, I noticed he was giving money to the community college. Well, I didn't really understand community colleges, but that made me start to think and look into it. And I think the nation needs to provide 2 years of post-high school education for anyone that has the guts and the fire in their belly. If we don't do that, the nation is not going to be able to be internationally competitive. That's what I've always done with my companies. We compete in the world. We don't just compete here. And if we don't wake up and start educating our workforce, this generation is not going to do as well as my generation. But anyway, Peg, thank Ed for this. See you later. Bye.
Well, thank you all. Thank you, Elizabeth and Tori and Devin, very much for your contribution today. And thank you, Chief Wilson. I appreciate you so much. And of course, the Wilkins. These Wilkins Fellows, as you can tell by the message that was shared with you today, means so much to these young people coming from Auburn High School. So thank you all. And before we conclude, of course, I would like to give a special thanks to the foundation staff. We have Erica Talbert and Fran Streff, who's in the back of the room. They're the ones that are helping pull all of this together and make this event the great success that it is. Also, I'd like to thank Professional Catering for another fabulous meal, and then National Bank as our sponsor again this year. Also, thanks to all of you who have supported the NRCC Educational Foundation Scholarship Program. Your generosity and belief in the power of education are what makes this program a success. So now I think I'm the only thing between the students and fall break. So with that said, students, you look fabulous. Thank you so much for being here early and representing us so well. Have a great fall break, and everyone enjoy your afternoon. Thank you.